And welcome and good morning as we're doing this live on Saturday morning, but we are live right now, and you can watch us anytime if you want to catch up on any of the Howard Eskin shows. There is a lot to talk about today, and it's just me and you today. People, I always get these messages, more callers. I don't know if we call them callers, but they join our show with a link. If you go to any of the social media platforms, you'll see the link where you can call in or jump into the show. And I just want to let you know, some people either don't want to be on camera or don't know how to hook it up. You got to have the audio, but you don't need the camera. But I'd love to see you and talk to you. But whatever you want to do, you can join me today, and we're going to talk to people. I got a special giveaway today. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I also want to tell you about the person that sponsors this fine program, that he's the presenting sponsor, and that would be Stillwell Financial Advisors, and that would be Jeff Stillwell. Any wealth that you want to invest, Jeff can do it for you. That's what he does, and he does it very, very well. Great advice to me. He's had great advice to other people, unbelievable knowledge, and a straight shooter and a great guy. And you can even talk a little sports with him. If you want to find out, you want to check it all out, 732-343-0813. Jeff Stillwell's number, 732-343-0813. All right. There's so many things to talk about today. One would be the Eagles that start camp next week. We're going to touch on that. Everybody thinks that they're going to win a Super Bowl, and they may be the best team in the NFL. That the best team doesn't always win, but we'll talk about that. I mean, it's just what you look for, what concerns you. And I want to talk about all these people that are getting all worked up because Jaylen Herz is not ranked by most, call them experts, around the NFL in the top 5. And who cares? Who cares where he's ranked? It's about winning and losing. It's not about where you're ranked or what the awards are. It's about winning and losing, and we'll talk about that and why he's not ranked in the top 5. We'll talk about that, and we'll have you talk about that. The Phillies, what their needs are before the trade deadline. Friday night, the first game of the Eagles game, they lost. They lost because they only score with home runs. I also want to talk about, and I'll get your opinion too. Fox Sports put out I think they do it for all the teams, the best all-time team for the Phillies. I disagree with a couple of their positions, and we'll talk about that. And the 76ers, boy, things do not change with the 76ers. And they don't change because they're always injured, because they got 2 always injured players, Joel Embiid. And I want to talk about some things that he talked about, how he bullshits people. I don't like to curse on the show, even though you can do it on a podcast, but that's what it is. It's BS. I want to see it. I don't want to hear you give me all your, well, we'll get into that. And then your final thoughts on the baseball AllStar Game. And the ratings were down. They give you that nonsense that it's a higher rated AllStar Game than any of the others. They all suck. There's nothing you can do about it. They all suck. And I still say the way that game was decided is not the way you should decide an All-Star Game. You already have the home run hitting contest the night before, but we'll get into that too. And we're going to get into really the trouble that the mainstream broadcast industry is into right now. And we had our latest example of the canceling of Stephen Colbert. The broadcast industry is in trouble. That's why podcasts are the future. When advertisers buy radio and television advertising, they're overpaying. They're paying what they used to pay, but not as many people are there because more people are into podcasts. We'll get into that and some other things. But first, I want to tell you about our other fine partners, sponsors, and they would be Cut the Cord with Jason, Piaza Property Pros, and Audi Westchester. And at Audi Westchester, you can lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro, $439. This is a great price, $439 a month, or a new 2025 Audi A5 Sportback for only $529 a month. All you need is $2,500 down, plus taxes and registration fees to lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro or Audi A5 Sportback, 36 months and 7,500 miles per year. Stop by Audi Westchester, located 1421 Wilmington Pike. Don't wait. This is a great offer. I'm telling you, this is a great offer. $439 a month for an A3 Quattro 2025 and a new 2025 A5 Sportback, $529 a month. Audi Westchester. Check them out, AudiWestchester.com. Also, if you're tired, and who doesn't want to make money or save money? You all want to make money. You want to save money too. So if you're tired of overpaying for your cable, then here's what you have to do. You have to cut the cord with Jason. Jason offers an incredible service that will save you money, and it'll save you money on your monthly TV and internet bills. What people are saying, you see right up there, Mike. I saw Cut the Cord with Jason on Howard's show after years of wanting to get rid of cable TV. I finally did it. Jason came to my house, explained everything, set up the home screen to what we needed, and even hooked up my sound bar in the basement. Jason was awesome. Mike L made that wonderful endorsement from Northeast Philadelphia. People love to cut the cord with Jason. For more information and to save you lots of money, call Jason at 215-801-5858, 215-801-5858. And right now, it might be late to put a pool in for the summer. We're late July, because you waited too long. You procrastinated. But you could talk to Piazza Property Pros about doing it for next year, but you better start now. But what you still can do, and they can do it, Piazza Property Pros with 25 years of experience, because they specialize in a lot of good things, unmatched customer service. They don't subcontract. That's why it's important. Their own skilled team, excavation, hardscaping, fencing, landscape, pool maintenance. You can trust Piazza Property Pros to deliver exceptional results on time, within your budget. Here's a number for a free consultation, 610-566-2608, 610-566-2608. Check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. So here's what we're dealing with. The Eagles start camp next week. It's Saturday, so it's when we're doing this. They start it next week. And camp is camp. They have one practice with another team, and that would be the second preseason game with Cleveland. But what do the Eagles need to do? I'm asking you, and I'll tell you what, they need to have few injuries. You're always going to have injuries. It's a long season. The practices are different, so it cuts them down. You need to have a good year from the running back, Saquon Barkley. Is he going to rush for 2,000 yards? I don't think so. I mean, that's really 2,000 yards. That's a lot of yards. But you need to have a good year from him because he makes the quarterback better. Here's the way it works. The offensive line makes everybody better on offense. And they're the best offensive line in football. They make Saquon Barkley better because once he gets to the second level, really, really good. But the offensive line helps him get to the second level. And the offensive line helps the quarterback, and Saquon Barkley helps the quarterback because when you can run the football, it's not full steam ahead on the quarterback by the other team's defenses. That's the kind of thing, but they need to be close to injury free, which they were last year. And Jalen Hurts, where does Jalen Hurts rank in the top quarterbacks? Uh, where does he rank in the top quarterbacks in the NFL? He's not top five. He doesn't throw the ball enough to be top five. And it's by design because Saquon Barkley's so good. It's not his fault. Could he be top five? Yeah, at some point he could be. But whatever the case, don't worry about that. It's about winning games. It's about championships. It's not about where you're ranked. The Eagles have two great wide receivers. Do they care where they're ranked? No, as long as there's results and as long as they get catches. Saquon Barkley, does he care where he's ranked? Yeah, no. Does he really care whether he was? I don't even know what. I guess it was the play of the ESPYS. By the way, the ESPYS are boring. They are boring. It's just a night to fill programming. The ratings are down on the ESPYS as they are on a lot of broadcast shows these days. But it's just the schedule. I see Philly Bob talks about the schedule. We'll talk about how many wins. Philly Bob wants to know how many wins. It's just I see somebody has chimed in on the chat from Toronto, but you can join the show. Just click on the link. We'll talk about the Eagles. We'll talk about the Phillies' needs before the trade deadline. I want to talk about Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper had 3 hits last night, and that's nice. But they need him because if he doesn't do the things that he used to do, not this year, he had a couple home runs. The one in the 8th inning was a good pitch. The one earlier in the game was a bad pitch, but he hit it, and he has to hit it. It's just I see it. Somebody said Ted Hertz isn't worried about his personal stats. Embiid is worried about his personal stats. We'll talk about the same old injured Sixers. If you have any final thoughts on the All-Star games, less and less people watch every year, and the broadcast the broadcast industry. Stephen Colbert's show will be canceled. That's because the broadcast business, mainstream media, is done as we know it. But advertisers will still chime in. You don't get value. I mean, I'll tell you, you do get value on a podcast because the commercials live forever. And it's not exorbitant prices when you pay for the advertising, whether it's on podcasts or this podcast. But Phillies lose their first game to the Angels. They'll win the next 2, but the Angels are close to a 500 team. But we'll invite your calls. And I see I want to get into the other things, and I will get into the other things. You see, or you've heard what I'd like to talk about, but you're part of the show today. You are part of the show. And I think Joe's the first guy up. Scott the first. Yes, Scott from Downingtown. All right, Scott, you are joining the show. What's up?
Yo, King, how are you, my man?
Another day in paradise. What can I tell you?
Always,
Yeah.
always. All right. I read that article because my buddy is a huge
Read the
Sixers
article
fan.
and make it clear
Oh, about
about
Embiid,
Embiid.
about the Embiid article.
Yeah.
He said if you read this, and he goes, you will not have be able to say anything bad about this guy. I said, all right, give it a shot. Well, I read it, and look, I have some notes here, and
Go
you
ahead. I
cut me
have.
off when you want. I gotta go. So the first part, look, the one thing I didn't know was that I understand his upbringing and coming over to America, and that must have been really hard. I get that.
It's
Okay.
10 years ago. It's enough of
Exactly.
that.
That's what I was going to say. It's a long time ago, and you're a professional. And if you don't like the way the media is, look, Charles didn't like the media. Somehow he was able to get over it
But he
with
dealt with
grace.
it. He dealt with it.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that second part, as for trust, that's Josh Harris. That's his organization. That's either Hinkie or the Colangelos or whoever. Okay. And the fact of the matter is that if he didn't feel that trust, and he's got all that money to have people to look out for his best interest. Okay.
Well, wait a
There's
minute.
no gun.
Let me make this clear.
Yeah.
What did he say about trust? I read it,
He
but I
said
don't.
he said that after the first injury, he was telling everybody that his foot was still not feeling right. and that he went to the organization and they were pushing for him to play because again they're all about selling tickets and blah blah blah.
Correct.
He was able because they brought in this extra guy, I guess who they brought in that looked at him, I believe it was, and they said, yeah, it's not healing properly, and he felt in a way vindicated because he was saying all along that, hey, my foot's not right, something's wrong, and they just were like, oh no, you're going to play. That was the thing about that. My point about the trust is that that's an organizational problem, and the fact
Yep.
is he does not have. There's no gun to his head to sign those contracts, and he's a star. If he really was worried about that, he could have gotten out. He could have asked for out. He could have asked for a trade, and you move on. So that's that part. Okay, that goes with what you always say about comfort. Number three, still not grasping the fact that his teammates called him out. Okay,
Yes.
about for
Yeah.
not being a leader. He's still held up about that, pissed about that, and and not worried about the fact that all the things you're doing is the reason why people don't look at him as a leader. His teammates are calling him out on that.
I know. All
The
right.
next
So
part.
go
Let
ahead.
me get to.
Go
I
ahead.
got two more, then you go.
Go
You let
ahead.
me know.
All right. All
Number
right.
four. When he reported to camp for Team USA, Grant Hill stated that they knew that he was not at his best. So you're going to tell me that that at that point Embiid knew he was hurt. The Sixers had to know he was hurt, and yet they had no problem letting him go
Well, they
because
can't
they
say
enabled.
anything. They can't say anything.
I hear it in the last part, but this is the one that bothers me probably the most because I remember this. He talked about the fact that, well, I've played through all this stuff. When I was in the playoffs, I can't help it if somebody elbows me in the face. Go back to that situation if you remember. They were playing against a low down Raptors team, and they were in Toronto, and he's showing up the fans. He's putting his arms out like an airplane and acting
I
like a
know.
child on the thing. And
Yeah.
guess
That's
what? The next game, they gave him the receipt.
yeah.
That's his fault because he's a child. I
Okay.
go ahead. Sorry.
Here, no, that you're good. You don't have to apologize, but
Yeah.
you want to get it off your chest. I'm
Yeah.
going to read you some of his quotes,
Go
and
ahead.
I'm pretty sure it's no one is a winner until they've done it. I'm fine with that narrative because I haven't done it. See, he comes out, and I'm just going to interject here. Comes out, well, woe is me. It's just, oh, give me sympathy, and I'm agreeing with you. But when he says Charles Barkley, great player, questions right, yeah, he is, but he never won. Charles Barkley has plays twice as hard as Embiid. He's twice as good as Embiid. Guy was 6'5" at most, and he had 20,000 points and 10,000 rebounds. Back then when it wasn't easy to do that. Come on, don't compare yourself to Charles Barkley. It's not close. Then he goes, but because he never won. Allen Iverson never won. Allen Iverson may not have been really good at practice, but he played his ass off every game, played hard every game. Would play 48 minutes. Embiid can't play 35 minutes without being gassed at the end because he's never in shape every year. But he says, but again, quoting Embiid, but that doesn't mean they weren't great. Okay. All right. Everybody leads in their own way. I lead on the court. I'm waiting for that, by the way. Over the years, you also grow and you learn a lot. If you ask my teammates now, they'll tell you a way different story than my teammates a couple of years ago, because years ago, I was nowhere to be found. So he's trying to get your sympathy. He's got to practice hard. He's got to work hard. He's got to listen to the coach. He's got to play for his teammates. And he didn't do any of those things. So all of a sudden, he got his contract. He got his money. He does whatever he wants to do. Is he talented? Yes. Is he a great player? I don't think he's a great player because he's never won. But when you say Charles Barkley and you say Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley got to a finals. It wasn't with the Sixers, but he got to a final. Allen Iverson got to the finals. Sixers can't get past the second round. I mean, don't compare yourself with those people. So he's way out of line. There's other issues that he
Now,
has.
Howard, that you always talk about how that was that the woe is me. That article was the Mona Lisa of woe is me Embiid. I mean, I couldn't believe it as I'm reading that thing.
Yeah,
So
I know. Hey, Scott, I appreciate you chiming in on the show. And I am going to figure out a way to include the giveaway today And I'm going to tell you. Let me move on, and I'll tell you
Yeah,
what it
absolutely.
is.
Thanks, King.
All
Appreciate it,
right,
man.
all right. Thanks.
Later.
The giveaway today is, and this is a collectible that you can't get anymore unless you go to eBay and find it on there. A Howard Eskin bobblehead. I have a few of them that I'm willing to give away, and it's the one with the you'll see the chain around the neck. I haven't hooked up the chain here. Oh, I got the bubble. I'll show you in a second. Okay. You want to see that? See, there's the bobblehead that you're going to win. And the chain around the neck has a real diamond in it. There's a chain around the Howard Eskin bobblehead. So what I'm going to do is ask you a question at the end of the show. Let's put it up again so they can see the chain around the neck. See it right there? Uh, I'm going to ask you a question, and people that participate, I'm going to find a way to include them in the giveaway. Uh, so the chance to win in the giveaway. So I'll ask a question. I'm going to go 2 shows with this. This is special. This is a special giveaway, and we'll select the winner by Friday. You'd submit when I ask the question. Submit your entry by Friday at midnight on July 25th, and on the Saturday show on July 26th. That's a week from today, 8 a.m. You'll see that if you've won live on X, with Twitter, I still call it Twitter too, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, winner will be randomly chosen from all the correct and the entries that I include. I'm going to collect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to include people that have called in, and I'm going to include people that answer the question correctly and put them in the mix. It's a special. It's a special giveaway. So that's the giveaway today, and we're going to announce the winner of the giveaway from the last show. But I want you to participate. Now, Scott talked about Embiid, and I agree with him. People know his act, and his act is not very good. He's got a weak act. Weak act. But we're going to talk about the Phillies' needs at the trade deadline, the Sixers, your final thoughts on the AllStar Game, and who's up next, Joe? Who do we got next? Okay, Lee Goldstein, who I think was a winner of one of our giveaways. Lee,
I'm here.
Thanks for joining the program.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Great.
Very good. Very good. Howard, really nice to be here. Love the podcast. Really glad to see you doing it.
Thanks.
So I was thinking about the Phillies. That was the main. First of all, I thank you very much for the Oakleys. I did win them. I love them. It was awesome.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I want to thank Oakley. I have a rep that takes care of me. I'll call him Freddie because I don't want to dime him out too much. But Freddie's good and has always been a good friend, and he takes care of me with the Oakley sunglasses to give away. So that's awesome. Good. Yep,
they are great. So I was thinking about the Phillies and just watching the game last night. It actually goes back for a couple of years ago for me when Kimbrel was used. I would have fired Thompson then. That was to me egregious, beyond egregious. He killed the whole season, and he continues to misuse the players. Where was Strom? Why was the pitcher pitching?
Can I interject?
Why was Joe Ross pitching in the ninth? It makes no sense to me.
Okay, I'm going to interject here because the manager a lot of time takes the lead from the pitching coach. And I think when Kimbrel was pitching, they fired that pitching coach, and they've gotten a new one since. I forget who it was. They didn't like, everybody's at fault, but ultimately the players have to perform. Ultimately, that's who's got to perform, the players. And hey, listen, can the manager be better? Yeah, you make decisions, but your players have to be better. This Phillies team right now, you're talking about that Kimbrel situation. I forget, what was the score when he was in there? What was the score?
I don't remember myself either. It was close, but I don't remember the score.
Okay. Well, but it's like the team now. They can't score unless they hit home runs. Last night, they had 5 runs, and they had, 2 home runs, which were four of the runs were driven in by home runs. You got to put the ball in play. That's what you've got to do. You got to put the ball in play. And they don't do enough of that. But back then, hey, listen, Thompson, you want Wheeler to stay in for 9 innings. Here's part of that problem too. The agent complains if you pitch a guy 9 innings because he wants him for he's under a contract, which I guess he's got. Did he sign it last year? He's got this year and next year. He wants another contract. So you want to make sure that he stays healthy. There's so many other things now in baseball that never used to be there. And that's a problem. Ultimately, the players are the ones that have to do it. Ultimately, the players have to do it.
I totally agree with you 100%, but still the manager's the boss. He's the one that manages the game. He's the end of the line. And I think over and over, he makes the same mistakes. It's not like one mistake, the same thing. It's over and over. He's got the wrong guy in at the wrong time.
Okay, so who do you want to be the manager? It doesn't make any difference because they all do the same things.
I agree. I'm not saying, but I think they can't win with him. And I think that's a major, major problem.
Well, he gets the players to play for the most part. There's some guys, if you heard the Larry Bowa podcast, the last show.
I did. It was good.
Yeah. And he says, when you get guys that don't run hard.
I think maybe he didn't want to say, you know what I mean? Because he's invested there a little bit.
I mean, there's players on the Phillies that don't, run it out to first base. You never know what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden you bust it when a guy bobbles the ball. You can't do that. I love the guys that think they hit a home run and then just kind of waltz out of the batter's box. And then all of a sudden, oops, it didn't go out. And now you got to scramble to get into second base. So it's not always the manager. Now, he did discipline Castellanos this year for being disrespectful. There's a time and a place, but I don't know that it's the manager. I don't like this lineup, and I don't like their bullpen. Do you like either one of those?
Well, I don't think the bullpen is his fault. Obviously, he can't control the bullpen. I totally agree about the lineup, but that's the manager. He has total control over the lineup. And I hate the lineup. I can't ever see Schwarber batting first as well as he's done there. He should be third or fourth. I don't see him second. It makes no sense to me. And Howard, I wanted to touch real quickly because I don't want to take any more time on the All-Star Game. Which
please.
I watched the intros, and I'm old-fashioned in some ways, but I'm not really an old-fashioned person. I can take everything. I hated the intro so much and the crotch grabbing and the stupidity of that. It bugs me so much. I didn't watch the game. But when I went back and watched the video of the chatting on mic, which I love. I really enjoy that. And I thought the game was great when I watched the highlights, and the home run derby at the end was phenomenal, but I agree that's not the way to end it.
That's not the way to win. That's not a way to
I agree.
And the MVP.
Putting a man on second, the ghost runner in regular baseball is a disgrace also. They got to get rid of that.
But let me just interject. Kyle Schwarber's a great guy. Congratulations. He was the MVP.
Yes.
But come on. You select an MVP from batting practice. It's batting practice.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Hey, Pete Alonso, and you don't want to hear it. He's the one that gave him the lead. Now the pitchers blew that lead. They had a 6-0 lead. But the All-Star games, as Larry Bowa pointed out, and I see it, players don't play as hard. They don't play to win. And the point with that is the American League didn't put their best home run hitters in to participate if that was the case. Judge and Raleigh, the two leading home run hitters in the American League, didn't even participate. How do you if you really want to win the game, you get your best home run hitters in there, but Judge doesn't want to participate in a home run hitting contest, obviously. But Raleigh did on Monday, but why couldn't he do it again? I mean, I love when everybody announces, Schwarber hit 3 bombs to win the MVP. It was batting practice, and that's not the way you should win a game. But you're right. It was hard
amazing, though. I mean, even though it was batting practice, it was amazing, and he is a superstar.
Oh yeah, well,
he's an amazing player. And
I got something else I want to bring up, which I think Kyle Schwarber was slighted by, and I'll get into it on the All Phillies team. I think he was slighted. But Lee, hey, thanks for the
thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks for jumping in.
I'll see you next time.
All right, take care. I might as well put that up now. We with the Phillies, there was an all all-time lineup. That this was put out by Fox. You see the logo there. It was put out by Fox Sports. All right. The outfield, I'm okay with. Bobby Abreu had great numbers. I don't know that he was a winner, but he had great numbers. Lenny Dykstra, he's a winner. The Mets probably don't get to the World Series in '86, although they had a lot of great players, but forget about the Mets. But the Phillies in '93 with Lenny Dykstra, Lenny is kooky and crazy, but he deserves to be in that outfield. And Richie Ashburn, obviously, a Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats. The shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. I teeter on Boa, but Boa says it should be Jimmy Rollins. Chase Utley at second base. I might have taken Manny Trio. He didn't have the offensive numbers, but he was an unbelievable defensive player. Unbelievable. And Manny was a real important part of the team. But Chase Utley won a World Series. So, okay, I'll leave him there. Obviously, Schmidt at third. Carlton is the pitcher. Ryan Howard at first. Your relief pitcher, Tug McGraw. Won a World Series. And I'll go with Tug McGraw. Catcher, I love Darren Daulton. I was friends with the guy, met him when he first came up, got to know him real well. Terrific guy. But I think Bob Boone's the catcher. Darren Daulton's right there. Darren Daulton was more of a leader's voice in the locker room, and maybe you could kind of include that. But I'm okay with kind of okay. But I would have taken Bob Boone, but Darren Daulton is, if he's not one, he's 1A. The manager, we'll leave the DH for last. The manager, Charlie Manuel won a World Series, but so did Dallas Green, but a lot of people don't remember Dallas Green. Dallas wasn't an X and O guy, but without Dallas Green, the Phillies don't win their first World Series in 1980. They don't win. Dallas Green is the manager, but people don't remember Dallas Green, and may he rest in peace. He got him to play, boy. He really got him to play. Charlie's a good old guy, sweetheart, and Charlie and I get along great now, but I wasn't a Charlie guy. The DH, wait a minute. Bryce Harper is not even a DH. So they couldn't find a place to put Bryce Harper. So they put him at DH. Wouldn't you rather have a real DH and the guy that's got really great numbers? If it's just a DH, you don't talk about, like, Schwarber's not a good defensive player. And Harper does a nice job. Nice job at first base. Was a good outfielder, not Dave Parker type outfielder, which we talked about last show. But Kyle Schwarber should be the DH. I know you say, well, how do you leave Bryce Harper off the team? Well, how do you put him on? Do you put him over any of the outfielders? Do you put him over Kyle Schwarber? That's my point. So I wanted to make that point. I mean, Bryce Harper has had a really, really, really great career, but not as a DH. He played outfield most of his career, and now he's playing first base. But they had to find a way to put Bryce Harper in there. All right, so if you want to be part of the program, the link's out there. It was posted on social media, and you can join the show. And there's more people lined up to join the show. I'm going to get you on here in a second. I see a response on the chat line from Charles, talking about basketball. Barkley has never had Embiid scoring numbers. Who cares? Allen Iverson would play through injuries occasionally. No, he'd play through injuries all the time. Allen Iverson would play and would never whine about, I have this and I can't do this and I can't. He didn't listen to the coach, but he played hard. He would play 48 minutes a game if you let him do it. And he had his crew out there, and he said, other than his party crew, he didn't give a damn. Allen Iverson did give a damn. He did care about winning. Now, he didn't do it the right way at practice, but when he played a game, he always played hard. He always played hard, and that was Charles Papis. Charles, thanks for the comment, but you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm just telling you right now, you're wrong. All right, who's next, Joe? Okay, Lewis, and we just have your audio only, which you can do if you choose to do that. Lewis, you're up. What's up? Go ahead, Lewis. Yeah. Okay. Lewis, is your audio not clicked off? All right, Lewis, we got to move on. All right, let's go to Pat. Pat, you're on the show. Hey, Pat, how are you? Your audio's not on, Pat. The bottom of the screen. Yeah, go to the bottom of your screen and take the line. Just click on the microphone. You click on the microphone. If there's a red line through it, it means you don't have any audio. It's not that hard, Pat. I got to put a picture up of this next time. At the bottom of the screen, when you click on the link, there's a microphone, symbol for a microphone, and there's a symbol for a camera. If there's a red line through either one of them, then you're not on. We need your audio. If you don't want to be on the video, that's fine. Pat, I'd love to talk to you. Figure out your audio, and we'll get you on. All right, Tony, this is a challenge here. Tony, you're up while Pat figures it out. Tony, once in a while, just center up the camera a little bit. All right, Tony, what's up?
Hey, with Embiid, good morning, Howard.
Good morning.
With Embiid, why doesn't he just go down, in the lower part of the basket and let your guards do the shooting? His whole game is to come down and just make jump shots. You gotta let the plays,
Well, he's 7'2" and he stands outside rather than. You know why he does that? Because it gets him more tired. Physically, it's tougher when you play under the basket. He wouldn't even be able to play 30 minutes if he played under the basket where he should play. Yeah.
I think he's cheating. He knows he has to get back to the defensive board, so he has to, hustle up. I really think he's timid. He just doesn't want to, bang underneath. Like you said, Barkley 6'5". At least he played underneath. He
Yes.
didn't.
And you know what? Barkley was so much better. What Barkley could do is he got a rebound, and he was like Larry Bird. He could start a break. Actually, I wanted to talk about somebody put out, I guess it was Bleacher Report, put out a top 20 players. They had Kobe at 11. It's ridiculous. And they had LaFraud at number 2. LaFraud's not number 2. But regardless of that, I don't want to get too much into that today. But they had Kobe at 11. But what Charles Barkley could do when he got a rebound, because he could handle the ball so well, he could start the break off on a dribble, and the break would get out quicker. And he was such a good passer that he could find somebody off the dribble. Where Embiid, he doesn't rebound like Charles. He doesn't play as hard as Charles. There's no way Embiid should ever bring, when he talks about himself, should ever bring Charles Barkley into the same conversation. Just shouldn't do it. It's ridiculous. Hey, go ahead, Tony.
Did you hear about the Eagles might be moving to King of Pressure in 2029? Did you hear about that?
You mean the offices?
No, the whole.
The
Lurie
facility.
wants to build a new stadium.
You know what? They're not moving to King of Prussia. I think if they move anything, it would be the facility, because things have grown so much. They probably need more space. They do. A lot of people are moving to New Jersey because the players can save on Philadelphia wage tax if they move to New Jersey.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. That we're either going to Cherry Hill or could you imagine that?
I don't know that the infrastructure is good, even though you have Turnpike and all those other things. I don't know if the infrastructure is good in King of Prussia, and I don't know if there's enough ground in King of Prussia. I think they're probably trying to, like everybody does, they're no different. Intimidate. Intimidate's probably a bad word. Probably trying to urge the city and the state to be more active in contributing to a new stadium. I think the stadium's great right now. And I don't know that
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to get, I don't know that you need more seats. Would they like 75,000 instead of 68,000? Sure, they would, but it makes the ticket a very difficult ticket to get. So, no, I'm not going to worry about that. 29, it's 25. And to move in 29, they'd have to start construction in 27. I don't think they're going to move to. I didn't hear that, Tony, but I have a question for you. Did you see the all Phillies team that Fox put up?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, why not Pete Rose at first base?
Well, because Ryan Howard. I mean, Ryan Howard should
Well, I
be at
know
first
Ryan
base.
Howard, with the home runs too.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, I'm okay with Ryan Howard. Pete Rose is
how
a Hall
about
of
that?
Famer who won't get. But it's a good point. Pete Rose. That's another disputable. But if you had, what's your biggest mistake? Do you see what this all-time lineup for the Phillies that Fox put out? What's your biggest mistake?
Well, I didn't say. I wouldn't say it was a mistake. Well, obviously Harper's, the DH part. I would think it's,
It's a mistake. He's not a DH.
right.
Just because he can't get into the outfield, you don't put him in there just as a DH. He's not a DH.
If that's the case, you'd use him as a pinch hitter all the time, right?
Okay. Well, no, he plays every day. Who would you rather have? Who would you rather have at DH? Harper or Schwarber?
No, Schwarber, hands down. He's just.
Yeah.
I mean, now last night it looked like Harper's coming back again, but with the home runs,
he did when he was on the road too, and then he was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts the next game.
Yeah,
so we'll see. He's got to do it over a period of time.
As far as catcher, went up McCarver. He's always with Carlton.
Yeah, no, he was not a good, but he only caught Steve Carlton. No, McCarver's not the catcher. I think Bob Boone is slightly over Dalton. Slightly over Dalton. All right. All right. Go ahead.
I'm thinking the other Phillies catcher just that caught with the World Series there.
Well, Bob
Boone
always got hurt.
No, what the 08 team.
Who was the catcher in the 08? I forget who the catcher.
He kept getting hurt.
Ruiz, yeah, and Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, it was Carlos.
Yeah, he's not the all-time.
But then there was another guy. They kept sending him from Florida. What was his name?
No, Ruiz is the other guy that you might even think about. All right, Tony, thanks for joining the show.
All right, see you, Howard.
Talk to you later. It's just the old Phillies team is crazy. All right, the AllStar Game is. I love the way Major League Baseball said they jimmy around. Everybody jimmies around the numbers. Major League Baseball says that it was the highest rated of any All-Star game. Okay, the highest rated of any All-Star game. That's great. But the All-Star games aren't very good and they don't get ratings. It's just, they said it was the highest rated, 7.2 million average. I don't know if that's a lot. But then the numbers come out. This year's baseball All-Star game was 17% lower than last year in ratings. The ESPYs, which I think the ESPYs are boring after 3 minutes, really boring. It's just a way to get a lot of players out to an event because it's an off night for pretty much everybody. It's an off night for pretty much everybody right after the All-Star game. So they have that show. It's just I'm not an ESPY, and that the ratings for the ESPYs were down 17%. I know we talk about a lot of things, so I'm going to bring up Stephen Colbert. Gets his show canceled after he made a harsh comment against CBS concerning their settlement of a suit because they chickened out and they bailed out. it's just, but the broadcast industry doesn't make enough money anymore. And when they charge advertisers, now we're talking TV with Stephen Colbert, but radio, I don't think radio advertisers get value for what they pay anymore. I just don't think, there's value with the radio advertisers. So, and it's just, I'm going to pitch a podcast. Your commercials live forever. On radio, when they podcast, if and when they podcast a show, they don't put they take most of the commercials out and they resell them. Here, if somebody wants to watch a podcast from 2 months ago, those advertisers are still there. Any show they watch, is still there. Let me read some of the comments. Skeet says he's not a Charlie Emanuel fan. Dallas Green would be my manager. Dallas Green would be the manager. I mean, to me, it's pretty simple. Oh, the other guy that Pat mentioned, Mike Lieberthal. Yeah, Mike Lieberthal, I wouldn't put him in there. It's too bad. I wanted to get Pat on. Pat, we got to have a class on how to how to get you on. I'd love to talk to you. You can try it again. And Herb says, Herb Purple, I don't like any of the All-Star games. I think they should stop all the games. And the reason they don't stop them, it's revenue. It's just a way to have an event, to have another night, to kind of have your event shine. We pointed up the last show. A friend of mine sent me the All-Stars from 1970 compared to the All-Stars in this game. Almost every player was great in 1970. These guys today, there's an All-Star this year that you may not hear from after this. It's crazy. It's just ridiculous. It's not even a comparison. Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, you go right down the list of great players. There's no comparison. There's no comparison. The great players are no longer the great players. That's why the Hall of Fame gets watered down. I feel it's sad. And the Hall of Fame induction ceremony comes up soon. I feel it's sad that Dave Parker didn't make the Hall of Fame, or wasn't. He made the Hall of Fame before he passed away. It took him over 20 years. His numbers are so much better than Harper's. But it took him over 20 years. And it wasn't, I think it was the third committee. It wasn't the regular vote, wasn't the Veterans Committee. It was another committee that got him voted in. Scott Meyer says, do I like the team gets, that every team gets a player? No, I don't like that. But they want every city represented. It's not a true All-Star because you have so many teams. You're trying to get every team represented. So, Joe, do we have more callers? I saw some other people were up there earlier. We have some more callers. Okay, Jim, without the video. I'm going to try it. Hopefully your audio is okay. All right, Jim, what's up? All right. Look, I know you can't, we can't see whether you have your microphone and your camera. If you want to keep the camera off, that's fine. There's a microphone at the bottom of the screen and there's a camera. If you see a red line through either, one of them's not working. Jim, I tried, brother. This is not rocket science. Okay, so that means we got to take Cowboy Jim, who's a complete loser, but I'll take him anyway.
I know how to work this stuff.
I know.
I know how to work this
it's
stuff.
Not rocket. Hey, why don't you give him a class? At the bottom of the screen, there's a camera and there's a microphone. If you have a red line through either one of them, that means it's not on. So you just take your mouse, that little thing where you click on your computer or your phone, or you touch it on your phone. You take your mouse and you touch it to take the red line off.
Let the Cowboy fan take care of everything as usual.
Yeah, I wanted to get Pat on because Pat seemed like he's a sharp guy.
Not sharp enough. Hey, where'd you pull that bobblehead out of? Your attic or your basement? Where'd you pull that out of? Was
I
that
just I had it. Well, wait a minute. If you see in the back up there, you
smells
see
like
the bottle.
mothballs?
Yeah, no, it's not mothballs.
That's what it smells like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. It doesn't have the chain on. You have to hook the chain up with the real diamond. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's a
To get
big
the dust off of it?
That's the prize. That's the prize today. We're going to have it go through 2 shows. That's the prize.
Can a Cowboy fan win it or not?
Yeah, you can win it.
I'm not going. I don't want it.
You should, yes, you do, because you can't get one. You
Well-
want what you can't get. See, the Cowboys won a championship, but they can't get it.
They'll
So,
get it this year. They'll get it this year.
You
It's
know
coming.
what? Did we make a bet?
Not yet. No, we have not made a bet yet.
Okay. All right.
Hey, listen. All right, let me get to my points here. Listen, Gary Maddox, center field. Nobody even mentions him.
Gary Maddox is really a good. It's debatable. They had a lot of good center fielders.
Defense, offense was okay. Offense was okay, but his defense was top notch. I mean, I
His
don't.
defense was great. Gary Maddox is in the mix, but Dykstra,
Yeah,
was
but
just-
Lenny's he's the Mets. When I think of Lenny, I think of the Mets.
Well,
I
when
don't
they
think of-
made that, wait a minute, they made that trade in what was it, 88? I think they made the trade in 88. So he was with the Phillies for quite a while.
Well, I guess so. Hey, what's wrong with Larry Boa too? That statement he made the other night about, well, the Phillies don't need to they don't need to score a lot of runs.
Well, he still works
Come
for
on.
the organization. Well, they do
Oh.
they do have great pitching. The problem is you can't put your pitchers through that every game, like Luzardo. All of a sudden, he's not the same pitcher he was for the first half of the season, or for most of the first half.
They should get rid of him.
Well, no, but that means that Andrew Painter's probably going to have to take that spot in the rotation. That's probably what that means. You're going to give him a few more, but yeah, it's just no. They do have to score runs.
Yeah, they do.
Because
And
the other team's
yeah.
going to have good pitching too. You
Right.
got to score runs more of the conventional way. You can't worry about home runs. They scored 5 runs last night. 4 of them came on home runs. You
Right,
can't do
right. Well,
can't
you live by the home run and you die by the home run,
Yep.
and that was apparent last night.
Yeah.
And as for this All-Star game, it's just a matter of like players don't even want to go. I mean, can you imagine Pete Rose saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to go"? I mean,
know.
come
Well, it was
on.
different then. Well, that's one thing Larry Bowa pointed out. He was upset with the players that didn't want to go. By the way, I'm going to throw this at you, and I hope that the Cowboys sign Micah Parsons.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope-
because what they're going to have to pay him is going to screw up their cap to no end. Every time they sign a player, they screw up their cap. If
No.
he gets $40 million, I'm gonna throw up. How's that? But I
no,
won't
the-
do it on the show.
Look,
'cause
the
it's not-
Eagles have a tough schedule, so they're done. The Commanders are old. They're one of the oldest teams in the league. Okay, they're done too. So the Cowboys first place.
they have a
Eagles-
better quarterback than the Cowboys.
No, they don't.
Yes,
No,
they do.
don't. No,
Yes,
Dak
they do.
Prescott. Dak Prescott
Dak
just
Prescott sucks.
he had
Give me a
he,
break.
He was hurt last year, but
He is the
normally
biggest fraud of a quarterback in the NFL.
he normally would be in the top 5 of best quarterbacks, but he was hurt last year. So you put Jaylen in there, and Jalen's a fraud. He's a fraud.
Jalen's not in the top 5 in most people's.
Well,
top
he's
5.
whatever, but he's a fraud because he's just surrounded by really good players. I mean, if you put Bryce Young from Carolina in there, he'd be doing very well too. So he's just a fraud. He's fraud and phony. And Colbert, who cares about Colbert? It's the end of the late night show. That's the thing.
Yeah,
They didn't get rid of him. They're just getting rid of the late show.
And you point up the problem without pointing up the problem. The problem is there's less viewers on television nowadays. There's less listeners on radio nowadays. It's a podcast world, and it's the future of media. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bet you that they're going to start with the sports people, that sports people on newscasts, local newscasts, will be AI generated. They will eliminate that position because they don't say anything. They don't say anything. There's no opinions. It's just the same BS highlights. It's brutal. There will be AI generated, but there's less and less people. My point is less and less people watch television. You see that with television news. You see that with the shows because now the shows they watch, they can get on demand. So you don't have to watch that stuff live anymore.
Right.
So there's less there. And the other thing is, that's the same thing with radio. Radio, how many people get in their car now and they turn on the radio? They turn on a podcast because you can plug it into your cars now. It's a podcast world. And the value on podcasts for advertisers is so much greater. It's not even close. By the way, to tell you how the revenue is not as bad at Odyssey, my previous company, and WIP, they just fired another executive within the last month. Which is like, and there's more to come. So they're going to, farm it out. It's just what he did. I don't want to mention the position because I don't want to embarrass him, but because he was a good guy, he did a good job, and there's more to come. They're just doing that all the time. And then they hire part-time people. It's not what it used to be. And that story, when I did that podcast on Dan Cilio's show, and it went to a national media service, the talent's not the same. And I'm not talking about my son. Talent's not the same. The business isn't the same. The management has no heart and no soul. It's just, they don't care about the people that put in all that time. They don't care.
Well,
all right.
Yeah. All right, Dope.
Genius. All right.
All right, Dope. You have a good day, Dope.
All right. Let me, boy, Cowboy. I'm telling you, he's afraid to bet me that the Cowboys, and I'll give him odds. All right. Let me thank our presenting sponsor on this fine program, and that would be Jeff Stillwell Financial Advisors. Any wealth you want to invest it. Everybody, you want to make your money do something for you, and you want somebody sharp. I said sharp to do it. That's Jeff Stillwell. Give him a call. Good guy, knows his stuff, and he's going to give you great advice. I know because I've spoken to him multiple times. 732-343-0813. 732-343-0813. And let me talk about our other sponsors too. Audi Westchester. Right now, you can lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro, $439 a month, or a new 2025 Audi A5 Sportback, $529 a month. All you need is $2,500 down, plus taxes and registration fees to lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro or Audi A5 Sportback. 36 months, 7,500 miles. Here's where they're located. You want to have fun? You have fun looking for a car. It's fun. And the people there are great. Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike, 2025 Audi A3 Quattro, $439, and a 2025 Audi A5 Sportback for $529 a month. Check it all out, AudiWestchester.com. And also, you want to save money. I know you want to save money, but you want to save it by cutting the cord. You're paying too much for cable. You know it, and I know it. So cut the cord with Jason. He offers an incredible service that will save you money on your monthly TV and internet bills. Here's what people are saying, and many people have had endorsements of Jason's work. I saw Cut the Cord with Jason on Howard Show after years of wanting to get rid of cable TV. Finally did it. Jason came to my house and explained everything, set up the home screen to what we needed, and even hooked up my sound bar in the basement. Jason was awesome. Mike L from the Northeast with that endorsement. People love to cut the cord. You can save money and do it by calling Jason at Cut the Cord, 215-801-5858, 215-801-58. And you want to take care of your property. You want your property, your place to look nice. It's a little late to try to build a pool now because the summer's kind of halfway done, but you can still talk to Piaza Property Pros about setting it up now and maybe do it in the off season to have it ready at the beginning of next year. Piaza Property Pros can do that for you. 25 years of experience, but they do more than just build pools, landscaping, fencing, excavation, pool maintenance. You can trust Piaza Property Pros. 25 years. They don't subcontract. 25 years of experience. They know what they're doing. Give them a call, 610-566-2608. Schedule a free consultation. That's 610-566-2608. Piaza Property Pros. Check it out at piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to see if I can take, is there another caller up there, Joe? Oh, okay. They were up there and they left. I wanted to try to take another call. All right. Here's the question. And it's going to be, you're going to have to answer the question from this show and my next show on Wednesday night live at 7:30 to win a Howard Eskin bobblehead. Here's the bobblehead. It's a big time collectible. There's the bobblehead. It doesn't have the chain on it, but the chain will be shipped to you. It has a real diamond in it. That's a real fur too. That's real mink. It's real mink. So it's a collectible. You answer the question. Email your answer through the contact page, howardeskin.com by midnight on Friday, July 25th. Watch the show on Saturday, July 26th, and you will hear your name announced as the winner. It's on X, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And the winner will be randomly chosen. The question today, and I'm going to throw the people that were part of the show today. Keith, I'll read your comment, Keith, who were part of the show today as part of the mix to try to win the Howard Eskin bobblehead. So it's just. It's really, I'm telling you, people crave this bobblehead. It's crazy. All right. I will. Here's the question. I want to make sure I covered everything that I wanted to cover. All-Star games, they all suck. I got to announce the winner from the last show. That's right. Thanks. Oh, the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. I got to announce the winner. Throw it up there. Do you have it up there? Pasquale Galelli. He's Italian name. Well, Pasquale I can get. Galelli. Did I say it? Galelli. You win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. The question was, Larry Boa, not mentioning the Phillies, what teams concern you in the National League that have the best chance to get to the World Series? And he listed Milwaukee, the Cubs, and the Mets. And Pasquale was one of the many people that submitted their answer. And he was selected at ransom. And congratulations, you win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. All right. The question for this show, we ran the all Phillies team selected by Fox, which there were some disagreements. There were some. And you're going to have that over time. You're going to have disagreements. The one that I probably disagreed with the most, and who should be there and who shouldn't. People want to talk about, I don't want to make it too tough. There were players that I questioned, but the one that I disagreed, there's two positions that I questioned. One I questioned the most, and one I questioned secondly. So we'll be a little broad on your response when you submit it to howardeskin.com and submit your answers. And we're going to have another question and from our next show on Wednesday night, and we'll announce our winner next Saturday for the Howard Eskin bobblehead. So, we'll see. By the way, my bet is Embiid doesn't start the season playing a game. That's my guess. Now, I could be wrong. It's just an observation, and it's my opinion, and we'll see what happens. We didn't get into really what the Phillies need, but they need a bullpen and they need a hitter, I think. All right. Thanks for joining the program this morning. There was somebody, Keith, you're crazy. Cowboy Jim, my unhero, he says, you guys make a good team. Please, I don't want to be on that team. And another KZ 1994 Abel. That's your handle. He says, Howard, Tony Bruno, and Angelo Gattali in the morning were great Philly radio back in the day. Yeah, it's not the same anymore. It's just not the same anymore, and that's part of the problem. Uh, Danny just chimed in. Totally agree, King. Embiid will not start the season. Well, we'll see. Uh, you know, WP33 says, "Is the bobblehead wearing Bruno Magli loafers?" You know what? That might be. That might be. Yeah, the way it was done. I don't know. That might be. But that's the prize. Very hard to get unless you go on eBay. Hey, thanks for joining the program. Thanks for everybody that was a part of it. And we're getting closer to people understanding. Hey, Pat Milligan, he says, uh, what do you like better about the podcast as opposed to radio? Pat Milligan says. Pat, I wanted you to be part of the show. Maybe next time, hopefully, we'll get that all straightened out. What do I like better about the podcast as opposed to the radio? Well, I think I'm more talented, but that's I'm not even going to put that in there. When we have a guest, it's a conversation. It's not a 10-minute interview. Bing bang, you got to get it in and out. No 10-minute interviews. We have a conversation, and you can be casual with the guy. That doesn't really exist on radio. It's more fun. When you hear a guest, isn't it more fun on a podcast? Much better, much better. And we have a broader range of things that we can talk about. It's just free form. I wouldn't even call it free form radio. It's free form broadcast. And for the advertisers, it's better because your commercials live forever because the podcasts live forever. By the way, if you want to subscribe, go to the easiest way. They're on all the social media platforms. The easiest way, go to YouTube and subscribe, and it notifies you every time that I do a show live. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on Wednesday night, 7:30, as we always are. It's Eastern time. I had somebody listen from Toronto, which is Eastern time, and there's people that listen from all over the commercial. It's just Mark puts the 15-minute commercial breaks on radio, I guess, are a problem. It's just I could read a lot of these comments, but you got to chime in earlier on the comments. But thanks. See you. I'll see you. Wait a minute. I'll answer this question. Gary King, what's with Goldie Beacom? It said short. You mean the quartercept? Goldie Beacom is the college in Wilmington. Great people. I got a doctorate from them last year. It's up on the wall over, where is it? Right there. You see it right there with the cap. I got a doctorate in media communications. I was a commencement speaker last year. Their tuition's under $15,000 a year. What colleges do that? And it's a great education. That's where Goldie Beacom, and I had to mention it. Have a great day. I'll check you out on Wednesday night at 7:30, and thanks for joining.